Okay, today we're going to be looking at 3 strands publishing. So we'll start by logging in, and to do that, you'll go to your domain /wp-admin, and that'll take you here where I was. That'll take you to this page, and then you'll put in your username or email, whatever we've given you, and your password. And then you'll be here at your website, and what you'll notice is that there's stuff over here, mainly the stuff on the right we don't need to look at. We need to look at the things on the left. And so for what we're going to be doing, I am going to just kind of go down the line and talk about each of these things that we're using. So I'm also going to open up this page so we can see what it looks like and go through these different items. So we'll start at the top, updates. This is where you would have plugins and the things that we use for the website, and we regularly update all of our website plugins. So you can go in and click on them and update them if you want. For the sake of time, I'm not going to. You're welcome to, but we do that every 2 to 3 weeks, I think, twice a month. So we'll move down next to posts, and you are using posts on your site. These are your blog posts, and those are located here under the Connect tab. And you've got your posts here. So I'm going to show you how to format those and kind of what those look like. So within your post here, it kind of works just like word processing would. So what you're going to do if you want to create a new post is you're just going to come in and click add new. And what we'll do is give it a title. And then you would copy and paste, or you can write your post in here. And then you can format this text however you want, bold, italics. You can put bullet pointed list, numbered list. You can make a heading. So you could make a heading, or you can make a subheading. You can change the size here. You can align it differently. You can add a hyperlink if you want to make this a link to a different website or a previous blog post or a page within your site. So let's say you wanted to make it a page within your site. Then you can come over here and choose which site you want to use. So that's how that would work. And then what you're going to want to do is come over here and categorize it so that it will end up on the right spot. So if you categorize it in the right place, it should show up there underneath your other I guess Connect. I needed to do Autism Connect or Life Connect. So let's make it this. Then it should show up under Autism Connect. So let me refresh here. So there it is. So they're going in most recent order. And it's just going to show up right there for you. You can also, within here, you can add a featured image. You can come in here and pick any of the images you already have on your site, or you can upload a new file. So yeah, you just need to pick whichever spot it's supposed to go in. You can add media within your post. So instead of setting like a featured image that would come up at the top, which would be over here, you could add a picture right within your post and just choose a picture. If you're talking about your new book, let's say, you can just insert it into your post right there. You can align it to the left or to the right. And I think those are the main things you would want to use. So let's go into all posts here. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete this because we don't want that in here, because you obviously don't want that. And you'll notice that it's now in this trash folder. And if, let's say, you did it on accident, you can always restore it and it'll come right back to you, or you can delete it permanently, which is what I'm going to do because we don't need it. So that's mainly how posts work. You're just going to copy and paste your content, add a title, categorize it, and you're good to go. So let's see. Next, we'll do media. Within the media, you can see what media you have, but like you saw in the last little section in posts, you can always access media through other means. You don't need to access it through here, but if you ever just want to see what you have, or you just need an easy way to upload a picture or a file, you can put it here. But generally, we don't use this for anything. You don't really use that tab, but it is where all your media is located. Next, let's talk about forms. You have several forms here. So let's just look at one. And yeah, so it's pretty simple. The way you can make a form, I'm going to just go ahead and do a new one so I don't mess up one. You would give it a title. And then a description if you wanted. I don't know why you would need it, but if you just were getting confused which forms were which, you could use that. And it kind of gives you some instructions, but I'll show you how to do it here as well. You've got standard fields here and advanced fields here. So if you just want to add name, click that. It shows up name. You want to add the date. You want an address to be able to contact people. So then in order to edit these little things, you just click on them, and you don't want their last name. You can get rid of that. So then I'll get rid of that. And you actually don't need all this address information. I only want this information or this information. You can get rid of it. Or you could say, if you want to change the title, you can come in here to field label and say, I want this to be mailing address or whatever. And then if you want to change the order, drag them around to however you want. And then you can use preview, but it doesn't look exactly how it's going to look on the site when it's in the preview form. So it's not super helpful, but you can kind of get an idea. Then I wonder if you have any other more complicated forms. I don't remember. So let's take a look and see. I think these are just name and email. Yeah, so I think that should be the main things you need to know about forms. And if you just want to add, if you have all these unique questions, you can just add a single line of text, and it's going to show up there at the bottom, and then you would just type in, do you know about Jesus? And then save it. And then that's how it looks like that, but obviously we don't need that. And you can delete it by just clicking it there. So if you come over here to entries, this is going to be where people who filled out the forms, where they would be located. Look like we don't have any yet, and that's okay. Let's go back to forms. You can also see the entries for the specific forms right under here. So I would come here and see entries, and there aren't any. And you can also duplicate the forms. That might be helpful if you just want to, I don't know, but you can duplicate a lot of things, and sometimes that saves you a lot of work, just so you know. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Oh yeah, if you want to use settings, so you want to go to settings within a specific, let's go within a specific form. I want to go here. My internet is going kind of slow. Oh my, okay. There we go. Form settings. So you've got notifications. This is set up to give the admin a notification every time that there's a new entry. So that should work because we'll get down here to users and look at your admin status, but you should be an admin on your site, and then it'll give you a notification. But if you ever wanted to add a new notification, you can come in here and put a different email, some sort of other email here if you wanted to, and then it would send those notifications to you. I believe that should be the main things that you need to know there. So moving on to pages. These are set up pretty much the same way that blog posts are, so I don't need to go into too much detail. For your site, you've got pages. You've got a few pages up here on the top. And let's go ahead and look at the About Us page. So you've got your title up here. You've got photos that were added directly in here. And if you come in here, you can change the size of the photo. You can align it differently. It has a caption. So if you want to change the caption, you can come in there and change it. You can always change the photo as well, or the size. And then you'll notice down here, you've got some code, and that's what gives you this form. So we've created the form. So once you've created the form, you want to add it within a page. You come here to add form, and then it'll let you choose whichever one you want. You're probably going to deselect these because you don't want the title or the description to show up, and you'll just click insert, and it will give you the code, and it'll put it right there. So you just put the code wherever you want the form to lay. So that works pretty much the same way. You've got a featured image here. Same deal. You would just come in here to your media library and choose whichever one you wanted, and then set that as your featured image. You can use all the same options within here to change any of the formatting, and then you would hit update. So if any of this stuff changes and you just need to change some wording or something, or you want to update this, make it a little different, or someone new comes to work for you, those type of things, just come in here and change it and click update, and you're good to go. I think those would be the main things that you need to know. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Yeah, I think those are the main things you need to know about pages. Since we already went through posts, is very similar. Works very much the same way. You should be able to have comments on your blog, and those would be found here if there were any yet. Food gallery, there is a gallery in here, but I don't think you're using it right now. But essentially this is just for photos. You can add photos to a gallery and then insert the short code here, just like you would with the forms. You just insert that short code somewhere, but I don't think you're using this. I looked at your site last night and I could not find that, so I don't think you're using it. Let's move on to homepage areas. Homepage areas are, let's see. Here on the home page, and you have 2 right now. These are 3, including this form here, unless that's a footer, but we'll see. So you've got this slider here at the top, you've got a button for free ebooks, and then a form. So these are located main slider, free ebook. So you have 2. So within the main slider is just going to be code for this revolution slider down here. And I will go over kind of how you can update and change the different items in here later on when we move down. And amazing resources. Let's talk about that one. So what you've got here is it works much the same way that posts and pages do. You've got a title that we have the heading, and then we've centered it, and we've made the text white. So that means when you come in here, you can go into formats and it's highlighted, it's white text. And then this click for free ebooks. We have got that. If you look at it, it's highlighted. That is white text, and it's also a button, and that's why it looks like that. And it is linking to your page that is free ebooks. So I did that by clicking the hyperlink and then putting in that specific URL. So then come down here below, and so we've got a background image. That's what's behind here is a picture of some books. So you can get that picture from wherever. You would just come in here, add the file from your media library like we did on the other pages. You just come in here, pick whatever photo you want. And then we've got a background color over it, and then we've used this slider to make it transparent. So there's a color over it, but you can see it's kind of whatever you would call that, little hazy over it. So it gives it that nice look. And that's how we did that. So you could change the color here by getting a code number, the number code for a certain color, or dragging this dot around and changing it. And then the color transparency you can change here. And then padding, you always want to click yes on padding so that there's some extra space on either side of the words, which gives it this nice look. So if you wanted to create a new homepage area, you would just do that the same way that you created a new page. You'd add new, give it whatever title you want, maybe create a button. You can give it a picture, or you can just give it a plain background color and don't add a picture and it's just a plain color, and give it some padding, and then it will look just like that. So pretty much just if you wanted to add a new homepage area, I would just duplicate exactly what was here. Moving on to Male Poet. This is where you're going to send out this is sending out an automated email when you post new things to people who subscribe. So you've got your newsletters here, subscribers here, so you've probably, I'm trying to think of where you signed up for that. I'm not sure, but this is where all of that is located. So let's move on to this. WooCommerce is what we use to do your store, your online store, but I don't think we need anything. Well, this is where your orders are going to be once people start ordering things. But mainly I want to look at products right now so that you know how to update this. So I think a very simple way for you to do the products in your store would be to duplicate the ones that are already here by clicking duplicate, and then going into the new item and just changing the things that are different. So by doing that, you're going to come in here, change the title. Again, it looks very much the same to other things that we've looked at, posts and pages. And you'd come in here and put your title, put your information about the book here, and add a product image over here like you would add a featured image to a post. And then these things are already going to be done for you. So on this particular one, I have a sale price date because during the month of April, you wanted this book to be cheaper. Here, we've got that. So you could always get rid of those items. So if you're doing a new one, you just put the regular price here, which is $15, and then just don't have a sale price. And I think you've got and then your shipping would already be in there if you just duplicate the item. And I think that's all we need there. And I've got your product description down here as well. And then you'd come up here and click publish, and then you'd have a new item. And then you can look at your products all through here. That should be the main way. To do that. Yeah, so you can come in here and just change your price and just change the picture and the title, and then you don't really have to do a whole lot of work there. So then you just, add a product, come in there and do that. or you could add a product through this way, but if you just duplicate one that's already there, that might be a little bit easier. So let's move on. Genesis is the theme that we use for your website. Don't need to think about anything here. Appearance has 2 items that you need to think about, which are widgets and menus. So let's go to widgets. This is where, let's see, you had I think maybe we took your logo off, so that's no longer there. And this is where your menu is located. So that would be this part up here. And this is pods, means that allows us to have these pods, these homepage areas. So you don't need to do anything with that one. And then in the footer, I'm guessing we have you've got your form, one form there, and another form there, and your Facebook. Yeah, your Facebook thing. Okay, so how you would add items, if you needed to add items, let's say you created a new menu or a new form and you wanted to add those, you'd add them wherever you wanted them to show up on the page. Or you can always drag these things to change their positioning. So if I wanted the connect updates to come before the contact us, I just can drag these items wherever I want them. But you'd come over here and let's say you wanted to add a form to the footer. So I'd come over here and click footer 2, and then I would add the widget. And then you can come in here and pick which form you wanted to use. And then you'd click save, but I don't want that, so I'm going to delete it. And so that's how it works. You come over here, pick whichever item you're wanting to add. You're wanting to add a new menu. You add where you want it, and then you add widget. So I'm trying to think of what else. You can add a slider. You can add a visual editor where you would just add some text. So if I add this to my footer, then I can just add text. Or if you wanted to add some sort of special promotion or something in the footer, that could go there. They might not always look right when you do it, so you may need further help with that. You can always contact us later if something goes wrong, but that's just the general idea of how those things would work. So let me get rid of that. You've got your Facebook link here, and that's your Facebook URL, and you could add other types of buttons and other URLs for your other social media if you have other social media and you want them to show up there. And then you just click save, and then that's in the footer, and that's where your form is, your home contact form. So that's the main things there. So let's go ahead and look at menus. And within menus, you just have one, or no, you do have more than one. Are you using them though? I don't know. Let's see if you have more than one. I don't see any other menus. So this is your main menu, top menu. If you wanted to change the way that any of these things were, you can, all it is dragging them around. So if I wanted this to be up here, I'd put it here. Or if I wanted to make a sub menu item, I just drag it over and it becomes a sub item, as you see. Most of them are linked to, all of these are linked to a page, so you can come over here and see your pages, view all. If you create a new page, it's going to show up over here. You click it and then add it to the menu, and it's going to show up over here. And then you can change the way if you title the page something, but you want the menu wording to be different than the title of the page, you can change the menu item by clicking here. And then you can come in, and these are, you can also create custom links. You can do that by coming here to custom links, copying, pasting a link to whatever you want, and then adding the whatever you'd want that title to be. And again, you can just drag them however you want and then click Save Menu. And then those are added through Widgets, where we just were, by adding a custom menu, and then you'd choose whichever of these menus that you wanted. So that's the main things there. So let's move on. Plugins is what I talked about earlier. That's why you have some updates, but we can do those for you. We do those for you. Users, I don't want to save that. This is where we need to give you an administrator login. So what we would do, we will do that for you. We'll give you an admin login, and then when you did have one, you would come in here where yours would be, and this is where you could change your password. You could get a new password and change it. And you can also, you can add new users if you want to add a user, if you wanted to let somebody else have access or become an author on your website for the blog. You can make them an author. They're not, and then they wouldn't have admin access. You can just make them an author. Tools and settings are things we don't really need. I don't think we're using this. And then let's go to Slider Revolution. This is what creates that slide at the top. So within Slider Revolution, you have pictures with some text. Again, a simple way for you to get the effect or the desired outcome might be just to duplicate what slides are already here. And then you don't have to worry about the formatting, but I'm going to go ahead and go through some of the formatting with you. So for instance, on this slide, this has, and they also have these little buttons up here. So the green check mark means that it's visible. And if you clicked on this, this would make it no longer visible on the home page where the slider was located, but it would still exist. So then you could come back and bring it back later if you wanted to. So the background image is made through, or is located through Media Library. So that's your main background. If you want to just create a new picture, you're going to want them to be long, horizontal pictures so that they fit better, and at least probably 1,000 pixels wide to look decent. So you could come in here and then you'd choose whichever, and then you only have this one element here, and you click on it and you can edit it through here. So if I wanted to change what it said, I would change it through here. And so let's go ahead and duplicate this slide for the sake of learning about this. So let's say I wanted to change the image to something else. I want to change this. You change the font through here. Change the weight of the font through here. You can change the color. Through there. The alignment of it through here. So top right, but centered is obviously the best. And what else? Animation. So right now it is using, is it animated? I think it might just be, yeah, it is. Okay. So you do that through animation here. You can do whatever you want. You can play around with it. You just choose one, whichever you think. And then if you slide down here to the bottom, it shows you can change how long it takes for that sliding to occur, and then you can start this little timer over and play it so you can see. And we lengthened how long it took. So this changes when it starts. So when on the page the words, or in what time frame do the words show up after your picture shows up, slide main background, and then this, how long it would take. And so then you'd always come up here and save the slide as you're working periodically, just so that you don't mess anything up or lose your work. Then you'll come into each screen size and make sure that it works. So I don't know why the changes didn't carry over from one screen size to the next. They should. But the main thing that you need to worry about through these different screen sizes is that your word fits within these borders. And you can preview it by going through these different screen sizes and make sure that it shows up. So, and then also if you notice how the photo is zooming in like that, that's located here in Ken Burns, and you've got it on, and then you would change the scale in % from this. You kind of want to stay in these lower 100s ranges, and that'll show you, you can just play around with it and see what you think. But you're going to want to be from like 100 to 105 or something close, but you can change it small amounts. And you can also change the location of this picture. So if you want to move around where it's at, it's going to show you if you just kind of need to recenter it, or if the main part of the photo is down here and you need to change it. It's helpful to see. So those are the main things. If you want to add more text, you just add layer of text, but then you're going to need to make it the same font. So come over here to style. It's Roboto slab. So I want to come in here. Oops, Roboto. Okay, so now it's right. I'm going to center this up, put it down here, and edit what it says. And I want to make it bigger, so I want to make it 55 pixels, and I need to make the line height big too. Make it bolder. Give it an animation. You can also give it, if you wanted to, give it a background color. So let's say it's white text. I want to give it a black background, but I need a little padding on there. So give it some padding. And then you've got a little background on your word to make it pop more. You can give it a border, dashed lines, and give it a white border or a yellowish white border. And now you've got a little border on it. You can also give it a link. So I want to give a simple link, and then you would just copy and paste your URL there. And again, you'd hit save, and then you've got to go through each of your screen sizes to make sure that it looks okay. So you got to go through and make sure it looks all right and it fits, which it does, since it's such a small word. And then if you decide I really want to get rid of some of my layers, look at your layers by clicking on those lines, and then actually don't want that, or whatever you think. So those are the main things. I think that would be the main things you need to know how to do on here. I think that's pretty good. I think that'll give you enough information. You have a map plugin, but I don't think you're using it. I don't think we have a map because you don't have a location per se where people need to find you. Let's see. Right. Okay, so we're not using the map. So that's everything. Again, if you have more questions about things as you go, you can contact us for sure, but this should really get you started so that you know how to do the main and basic things on your site. So, hopefully that's helpful.